Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, this is the Daily Deucey podcast. Today is Monday, February 8th. Super Bowl was yesterday. Tom Brady fucking smoked them. I honestly was going to make a video about Tom Brady, and I decided just not to. I was in generally a pretty good mood. Basketball's kind of getting into gear. And then I saw this story, and we normally don't lead with the NorthJersey.com story, but the media is a huge problem in this country, but also litigation and fucking lawyers are also a really, 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 really big problem in this country. I'm sure they have a lot to do with COVID, with the fucking hospitals getting money and people not wanting to get fucking sued. So that's why we're going over the top on this, but that's a whole nother story. Family of Fairlawn boy struck and killed by Bergen sheriff vehicle on Route 208 sues. Now, I guess I will preface this prior to this. The officer, the sheriff involved in this, I know personally. And that's why this one kind of gets me a little bit upset. And I'm not fucking super happy about it. The sheriff, Michael Sandsveer, whom I went to school with, I've known literally my whole life, is one of the best people I have ever met. And that's not hyperbole. That's not, he is one of the nicest and kindest kids I've ever met. And I said this to his mother, so I don't want this to come off as offensive, but I don't necessarily even think Michael should have been a cop because he's too sweet and kind of a person. I'm sure he was a phenomenal cop because he is a fucking wonderful and intelligent person, but Sheriff Michael Sandsveer is one of the kindest and gentlest people I have ever met in my entire life. The family of a Fairlawn boy who was struck and killed by a car driven by a Bergen County sheriff officer in 2019 is suing the officer, the county, the department, and claiming negligence, a court filing shows. And I actually want to look up this fucking court filing because I am going to reach, and I promise this, I'm going to reach out to the lawyer for the boy's family in this case. Now, also, let me kind of preface this portion. I am unbelievably empathetic and completely sad and overwhelmed at the death of this kid. I have kids. I don't care what my kids were doing. If one of them died, I would not, I don't even want to get into what thoughts would go through my head. But the thoughts that wouldn't go through my head if my son was crossing a busy highway with no intermedian at 9:00 at night in the rain on a side, like just about on a curving portion of the highway. So this is why I kind of get so upset about the fucking lawyers and shit like that, because I find it hard to believe that this kid's parents are like, this is what they're thinking about. Because first off, they should lose this fucking lawsuit. I don't know. I want to say they will lose the lawsuit, but I have no idea how these things work. If they're going to just get fucking paid off or whatever, fine. I don't give a fuck. But, and I hope, it would be nice if the fucking department gave the kid's family some money for long-term fucking, taking care of the other kid and everything. But there is absolutely, in my opinion, no wrongdoing whatsoever on the part of Michael Sandsveer, the sheriff's department officer. In April 2019, 12-year-old Christian Tawadros was trying to cross 208 with his brother and two of their friends when he was hit in the southbound lanes near Fairlawn Avenue and fatally injured. The officer driving the car, Michael Sandsveer, was patrolling 208 at the time of the strike. Sandsveer had been with the sheriff's office for 12 years at the time of the crash and assigned to the canine unit. The lawsuit filed in state superior court in January says Sansevier was inattentive, careless, reckless, and negligent while driving the department vehicle. He was driving under normal speeds, under probably slower speeds due to the fact that it's raining, and he's on the highway at night. Apparently, in the dashcam video, you can't even see the kids. So, again, Christian's parents, God bless you, and I'm so sorry this happened to you. Whomever the lawyer is going to be getting a call from the old Deuce Daily podcast every day until they release a statement on this. You know, I changed my fucking, I'm now officially a comedian. But then I end up doing fucking stories like this, and I'm honestly, I might look kind of like weird right now because I really want to yell and scream and curse and say all types of stuff. I'm literally like clenching my hands together because this gets me so upset that someone could do this, A, to a good friend of mine, and B, someone who has literally given himself and his whole body to helping other people. His entire family does that. And you have the gall to come back and try to call him inattentive, careless, reckless, and negligent. Fuck you. The head of the sheriff's department, through a spokesperson, sent heartfelt condolences to the family but did not comment on the lawsuit. The unimaginable loss of a child is one Queertone hopes to never experience nor endure the pain and suffering of the officer involved, said Keisha McLean, a department spokesperson. We must use this opportunity to educate our children on traffic safety to avoid a tragic accident such as this. The kid was crossing the highway at night in the rain on a highway that does not have a fucking lane in the middle for you to pull over. It's just the fucking concrete median. A road that I have driven on hundreds of times, going back and forth to work at Rosario's, going back and forth to fucking Waldwick for basketball. It's unbelievable to me. Unbelievable. How do you think this affects Michael Sansevier? Do you think he's just fucking trotting along, having a grand old fucking time after this? Are you out of your fucking mind? The lawsuit also claims similar negligence on the part of the county and the sheriff's office with regard to their hiring and training practices. If you wanted to say that there should be a fence or a gate or some sort of shit keeping people from being unintelligent and walking across the fucking highway, sure, I'll fucking go for that. Maybe the town should put up some fucking gates. But other than that, if your kid doesn't know better than to walk in the fucking highway in the middle of the night in the rain with his brother, I don't know what to tell you. Okay? I'm just gonna move on this because it gets me too upset. This is the original story. I don't even fucking want to get into it. It's terrible. No COVID closure. New Jersey school district has been open since September. Shout out to old Henry P. Becton Regional. As select school districts in New Jersey delay a return to in-person learning or decide to remain remote through the end of 2020 academic year, a one school district in Bergen County, it's a one high school district, so that's... One school district in Bergen County continues a streak of not having to close its doors due to COVID-19. Opened with a hybrid schedule in early September, running fully in person 5 days a week since October 19th, the Carl-East-Rutherford Regional School District is still ticking, even with a few positive cases reported on a monthly basis. Schools are safe places, and we've proven that, Sforza told New Jersey 101.5. With each case, we don't act compulsively. To keep operations running as they have, Sforza said, planning had to begin before the summer when schools were forced to teach online. Once September hit, we had to deliver. By August, Sforza said personal protective equipment and temperature scanners were in place at Henry P. Becton Regional High School. And the one comment I will make on that is, like, when I had COVID, I never got a fever. I know a lot of people do get fevers on that, but it's becoming pretty common that this whatever strain now, you generally don't even get that much of a fever. So all these schools spent tens of thousands of dollars on these, temperature tracker things, which are just cheap fucking iPads with a scanner plugged into it. And that's not even like something that really even is 100% factor in it. So what else have we been doing and wasting fucking money on that isn't actually going to help the fucking situation here? A consultant nurse and certified contact tracer who had worked on COVID floors during the pandemic's initial surge was hired by the district to help determine whether positive cases required other students or staff to quarantine. Inside, students must wear face coverings and remain 6 feet apart when possible, as they must do in all other districts. Outside of school, there's a lot of COVID activity going on, but inside the school, it's not happening. God bless you, bud. Nobody can come to us and say you're doing something wrong when the evidence is not there. There's no epidemiologically linked school-based transmission of the virus. The level of COVID-19 activity remains high in all regions of the state, blah, blah, blah. So, again, high school age kids, the large majority of them are not even going to get sick from this. So we're shutting all these things down. New York City, their high schools are not going to go back to school the entire year. So nobody played sports. Nobody went to fucking school and interacted. I don't care what you want me to tell you. Zoom learning for anything, honestly, college or, college and up is okay. Anything below that, Zoom learning is fucking nonsense. And I don't even like, I don't even yell at the teachers. Like, I honestly believe that the students shouldn't be allowed to keep their cameras on. So I think, it's really great and wonderful for people who have a nice fucking office in their room, in their house, or they got a fucking $1,000 video card that can remove the fucking background for them, or they got a nice fucking setup. There's other kids who live in a fucking shack and their dad's walking around with his fucking wiener out. Okay, which actually happened in Kearney anyway. So, like, call me fucking Deucey liberal. I think just for kind of those reasons, you shouldn't have the camera on. And also, it's not the teacher's responsibility to make sure that your fucking kid is paying attention. I know it's super hard, and my wife teaches kindergartners. So, like, that's why we need these kids back in school, because this whole Zoom thing does not work. Kids are going to miss tons of actual knowledge coming into them. And while we talk about their social skills being terrible in the first place, how do you think they're going to be when we told them they weren't allowed to go out for fucking a year? It's fucking crazy, dude. All right, let's go to our Deucey crypto update. Back to the earlier schedule, 12:36 p.m. Wonderful fucking day. Bitcoin up 14% at 43,229 for another all-time high. Ethereum 1720 up 10% for the day. XRP even up 8% for the day. They took my fucking Litecoin down. Where's fucking Litecoin? Holy shit. How about that? But they took Litecoin down. How about some Litecoin news, huh? Where's the Litecoin price, babe? Why are you taking my Litecoin down here, huh? But huge day. Doge up 14%, which again, if you watch this fucking podcast, if you want to buy some Doge and then sell it and make your profit, please do so. If you think Doge has any sort of actual functionality, which Bitcoin and Ethereum and Ripple in particular, amongst many others, have actual functionality, I wouldn't hold on to it, bud. Please trust me on that. But the good news is Big Papi Elon coming in again Bitcoin hits 43K all-time high as Tesla invests $1.5 billion in Bitcoin. A filing with U.S. regulators confirms that Tesla is on board for Bitcoin payments in the future. About 1.5 billion. It's supposed to, I mean, they say whether it might be down to 2,000 by the end of the year, but they're hoping it goes to like 145 by the end of the year. It's at 43 now. So we'll just round it off and say 3x. He's going to make $3 billion on fucking Bitcoin. Oh my God. Well, the company at least. Data from Cointelegraph Markets and TradingView tracked Bitcoin to US dollar as a sudden spike to over 41,000 appeared as news of Tesla's plans trickled in. A filing with the United States regulator, the Securities Exchange Commission, shows that the company plans to buy $1.5 worth of Bitcoin. That's like, can you people fucking check your articles, please? I was talking in my nice professional voice when I was all upset now, and now my fucking squeaky fucking voice is coming back because I'm getting fucking worked up. It's what it is. In January 2021, we updated our investment policy to provide us with more flexibility to further diversify and maximize returns on our cash that is not required to maintain adequate operating liquidity. As part of the policy, which was duly approved by the audit committee of our board of directors, we may invest a portion of such cash in certain alternative reserve assets, including digital assets, gold, bullion. Isn't that the shit you put in like your soup? Bullion? No. Gold exchange, traded funds, and other assets as specified in the future. It states, thereafter, we invested an aggregate $1.5 billion in Bitcoin under this policy and may acquire and hold digital assets from time to time or long term. Moreover, we expect to begin accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment for our products in the near future, subject to applicable laws and initially on a limited basis, which we may or may not liquidate upon receipt. So this is the start, bros. This is the start of these. All these articles have been saying these big companies are going to start buying Bitcoin. And this is just Tesla, and Elon does kind of crazy shit, but like they were really kind of referring to the financial companies. So what if JP Morgan buys like $10 billion worth of fucking Bitcoin? So it just jumped like 10 to 14% today when they bought 1.5 billion. How much investment money's coming? 1.5 billion is like fucking. Like people lost 1.5 billion on GameStop and they're like laughed at it. Maybe the fucking 500K for this year is right. God, I hope so. All right, let's move on to our Deucey entertainment section to close this one out. Super Bowl performer The Weeknd reveals why his dancers wore face bandages. Now, again, I kind of made this post on Facebook, but I will reiterate it here. All the Super Bowl fucking shows are kind of weird and crazy. I know Bruno's wasn't that crazy. You know, Prince's was kind of weird because he put his fucking guitar up where like his wiener would be. Like super great. Like fine. The halftime show at the Super Bowl is always going to be a weird fucking thing. But the people, and it happens every single year. If it's not like fucking Beyonce, even Bruno Mars last year, they were like, who's this fucking Bruno Mars, guys? There's all these like old fucking boomers who like think that they're still kind of cool and relevant and have no idea about pop culture whatsoever. Like me being like on the edge of fucking millennialism. You know, I'm fucking 37, so I'm by no means a cool pop star diva. But I know, like, I'm very in tune with fucking music and culture and fucking social and all this shit. So The Weeknd is a huge, huge star, and he's super talented. He's not like a fucking rapper who can't fucking sing or not like The Weeknd's got fucking pipes, babe. Like it makes you look so silly when you say things like, I can't believe they put this guy The Weeknd on. I've never heard of him before. Like, that's a you problem, babe. And it's funny because they all ended up saying like, oh, well, I've heard a bunch of these songs. I just didn't know it was him. Well, then shut the fuck up because you do know the songs and you actually enjoy them. You're just not fucking, you didn't take the effort to actually find out who's singing the songs. So just people are so stuck on being grumpy fuddy-duddies. And because I'm fucking grumpy all the time, but I'm trying to fight for a fucking revolution here, you know? The weekend hit the Super Bowl LV 25, 55, 55, I guess. Halftime stage on Sunday night for a lackluster performance. Lackluster? Shut up, Fox News. Who the fuck? Fox, like Jessica Napoli. I'd like to see Jessica Napoli. Who's Jessica Napoli? Let's find her on Twitter. Jessica Napoli. Yeah. Okay, babe. Okay. You fucking love that guy, okay? Love him. Jessica Napoli. Fuck out of here. Besides an underwhelming show, the Grammy-winning artist made headlines for his closing song, Blinding Lights, during which dozens of dancers lined the football field donning full faces of bandages. The Canadian hitmaker, whose real name is Abel Tesfaye, previously told Variety, bro, what is with these fucking news sources? Not even like check. Variety is not even a word. Like it's not even that like that past spell check. The significance of the entire head bandage is reflecting on the absurd culture of Hollywood celebrity and people manipulating themselves for superficial reasons and pleased to be validated. It's all a progression, and we watch the character's storyline hit heightened levels of danger and absurdity as the tale goes on. Okay, so the one thing I'm going to we'll end on this, and I'm going to touch on this whole idea, and it goes into more of, Tim Dillon was on Whitney Cummings' podcast, and Whitney's still trying to like be like an LA elite comedian and get like a fucking a special and like a TV show and like try to get on like CBS. And she doesn't really understand that nobody gives a fuck about that anymore. And the only people that do have no idea about pop culture, and they say things like, I don't know who The Weeknd is, and B, are fucking old and they're going to die. So we go through these things where like Hollywood celebrities are like, oh, it's such a, Hollywood it's this big superficial thing and people manipulate themselves for it. And then you see people like us, like normal people or like even like newer kind of internet people. And you're like, yeah, like, of course, like, what are you talking about? We all know that. Like, we think you're stupid for doing that. Like maybe back in the day when you were Clark Gable and if there was no fucking Hollywood, you weren't making a fucking movie, babe. We don't need no fucking Hollywood, nor do we need a movie studio, nor do we need anything. I got a fucking phone, bub, and to be honest, I got about 6 of them, and I got a couple webcams. We'll fucking make a movie right here in this fucking office. Hollywood is over, babe. Over. Like, there is no more Hollywood. Like we're not watching, not like who's going to the movies anymore. They don't even let you. So the internet's the new way to go, babe. Podcasts, people doing fucking shit on YouTube. That shit is much more popular than fucking 2 broke girls. Like, are we serious? What are we talking about? I'm gonna just end on that because we're already 23 minutes. Holy shit, I got fucking wrapped up every time. But thank you, everybody. I missed 2 days yesterday, but technically last week, but technically I caught up that whole interview. Please go and check out the interview with Joe Metcalf. It's an hour and a half. It's phenomenal. Joey's really, really great on it. A lot of content, funny content, but a lot of content on mindfulness and happiness and business. But that's more of where we're kind of going to be going. I had planned three podcasts that day. I'm glad only one of them went through because it took me 2 days afterwards to kind of cut it up and get everything going afterwards. So probably going to look to schedule 1 hour plus podcast a week. And I might keep it down to an hour anyway, because don't tell Joey this, but after an hour, I start to kind of lose focus. So probably going to keep them to an hour and see where that goes. But otherwise, look at Lindsay Vaughn. Hey, what's up, girl? Otherwise, we'll see you mañana.